How's it going, Dave from Comic Book Investments? It's early this morning, and I just looked at some of these prices that just happened in an auction I did, and I just figured I'd throw out a few cool key auction listings that just happened. Very interesting stuff. So let's take a look. The auction is called Hakes. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it is pretty much an auction house that's been around for a long, long time, and they do a variety of stuff. They do like everything. They do like old presidential like pins and like Civil War memorabilia and just everything. But they do have a section for comics and cards and stuff. But let's just look at it. All right, this is an uncut sheet of Pokemon holographics, right? So you got the original first edition, uncut. And just look at this uncut. Usually what happens is these, oh, it's not first edition. My bad. It's just the base set. You can tell because they'll have like a little logo right next to their little weight and stuff like that, their height and weight. But usually what happens is they print them all off, and then they have a big machine that cuts them, right? They have little markers, right, where to cut. And so this is an uncut sheet, kind of crazy. Got your Charizard right there. So this is an uncut sheet sold for $234,000. That is crazy. That's just crazy, man. Another cool one. So we got this, Fantastic Four number 48. 8.5. It's pretty nice. Sold for almost $15,000. $15,000 for 8.5. If you look at the most recent sales here, compare it, it's pretty much right at the top. Pretty much right at the top. It was a record price. The previous record was 14,700, so a little bit over record price, which is crazy. So it's still going up. These things are still going up. Then we got here a giant size X-Men number 1, 9.2. This is just 9.2. Sold for $17,500, almost $18,000. If you look at a giant size X-Men 9.2, look at that. It beat out the 9.4 price. This is a 9.4 price. A 9.4 recently sold for $15,500. Look at that massive jump. Wow. What was the previous high? The previous high was $22,000 for this. Massive jump. But look at this. This is a 9.2. The last 9.2 sold in May for $12,000. The highest one's ever sold for is $15,500. And this, again, sold for $17,500. So just destroying the previous record. That's just crazy to me. Like, it's literally someone who literally bought this 9.4 got a good deal. That's what I'm always saying. Look for good deals. Then we got this. I'm not too familiar with figures, but I'm sure someone out there is. Action figure. Shout out to you. So this is a prototype. I've heard of this before. It's a prototype. They put the little missile in the back of Boba Fett. Yada, yada. I don't know how many prototypes exist of this. I imagine very few. A couple. But they're projecting at 100 to 200,000. I don't even know if the projections are always way off anyways. But it sold for $165,000. This includes the buyer's premium. You always have to include that because that's what the person's paying. And then on top of that, they pay taxes. Like, these people pay taxes. So add another 7 to 8% onto whatever these numbers are. But $165,000 for this action figure. Dang, I need to get some action figures. Then we got this X-Men number 1. Just a 5.0. It's got some tanning and stuff like that. 5.0 sold for $22,500 pretty much. Now let's look at a 5.0. Last 5.0 sold for $30,000. 5.5 sold for $32,000. And then recently a 4.5 sold for 18. So, but they averaged 22. So overall, X-Men looks like it's, yeah, I mean, 6.5 is going up. I would say X-Men's kind of like slowly going up. So this person got a pretty good deal. They got it for 22.5. When the average is 28 in the last 90 days, and the most recent one in April sold for 30. So kind of got a good deal. Got it on the underside. So, like I said, there's good deals to be had. This one was just, it's astounding sometimes the art goes. This is almost $8,000 for this Jack Kirby art. And really, like when you're looking at art, it comes down to the artist, obviously, it's Jack Kirby, and the age and the subject matter. But if you look at, you have 4 panels up here, nothing to do with Thor or Hercules. You literally have one panel that has Thor and Hercules on it, and it still went for almost $8,000. You got this some random person no one cares about. But this is what, like, if Thor was on all these panels and they're doing something cooler, it would have gone for a lot more. But just the fact that he's only on one panel and it still went for $8,000. Then we got this. This is interesting. So I read this already. So this is the cover to Turtles number 5, right? And by Kevin Eastman. It's a wraparound cover. They did that back in here. Here's the actual comic book. Now, this is technically is not the original art. What this was Kevin Eastman. This was the first time the Turtles were colored, and Kevin Eastman wanted to do it right. So he photocopied the original art, and then colored over the photocopy. So what this is, they used this to make the cover though. But what this is basically a photocopy of the original art, and then he colored over the original art. So the original art is in a vault somewhere in someone's private collection. But this is basically a photocopy where he just colored it in. And it still went for $28,000. That's just crazy. $28,000. Let's see what else we got. This is Mike Zeck. I always loved Mike Zeck's work on Captain America. Always have. So this is a cover. It's not even that cool of a cover, to be honest. He has much better covers than this. And so this, see how they have like the Captain America and the little logo up there? That's like a stat that they usually pull over. So this is the original art. Like, it's kind of bare. I mean, it's not. I personally don't like it that much. But I always like Mike Zeck's work on Captain America, because he has like this boldness and thickness to his drawings that I think bodes well for Captain America. But sold for $20,000. I wanted this, because I like Mike Zeck. Sold for $20,000 for a cover, but I didn't want it that bad. We got a Turtles number 2, and a 9/8. This is a first printing. Most recent sale was in June for $4,300, and then this one sold for $55. We got a Turtles number 1, and this is the second printing. I actually bid on this book. I did not get it, and it sold for $7,200. And the second printing, Turtles number 1, most recent sale was, right? Turtles number 1, second printing was $5,500, but this was a long time ago. So, I mean, a 9.6. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. This is a 9.6. My bad. A 9.6 recently sold in January for $6,200. I think this is still kind of a good deal, to be honest. Like, if I had more money, I would have got this, but we weren't even close. So, but this is the one I want to talk about. This is the one. Gobbledygook number 1. This isn't even the highest grade. The highest grade is a 9.2. They're all going to be signed by Kevin Eastman and stuff like that. Authenticated by Kevin Eastman. A 9.0, right? It sold for $71,500. $71,500. 71. That's crazy. That is insane to me. Just insane. The last one sold for, if you look at signed copies, the last one sold was 8.5, sold in December for 26,500. So this is slightly better, second highest grade as opposed to third. And it just, oh my gosh, it's just crazy how expensive they went for. Let's see if there's any qualified. No. Man, $71,000. A Gobbledygook 2, which we bid on that we didn't get, it sold for $8,500. A Gobbledygook 2, let's see, for, what is this, 8.5, sold for $6,600 previously. So yeah, it went up a little bit. So that to me is just crazy. This Gobbledygook, that's an insane thing. Now you want to see something more insane. Some of you guys know I have this. Some of you guys don't. Which this technically isn't up for sale, so it could be in my personal collection. But check out this. In case you're wondering what that was that I was showing you, that was Kevin Eastman's personal copies of Gobbledygook number 1 and 2. I had a letter up there from Kevin Eastman talking about how this was his and all this kind of stuff. I have his personal copies. The grades on them, I have no idea. They'll probably be in the 8 to 9 range, somewhere in there. But I'm going to keep them like that. I think it's cooler. But they're his personal copies. So I have that. Also, what I have is where, let me move my thingy around. Oops. Also what I have, but this is for sale. I can't get rid of me. This stupid program. Whatever. Let's see. Let's mute me. There we go. What I do have up for sale is this. These are the master, and I'll probably raise this price after that, man. This is the master printing of Gobbledygook. What that means is they made one copy of this, and then they use this to make all the other copies. So I'm probably going to raise this price just because I really don't want to sell it. I like having it up though, so people can see and see like kind of the history of it. But I really don't want to sell it. It's one of a kind. You can't make those anymore, right? Like you can get a Gobbledygook one, but it's like this is like one of a kind. It's almost like the original art, but not really. They took the original art and then photocopied each original art, put it together, made the book, and then they took the master profile, which is that, and then they make copies. And it has some like little like corrections on it and some little like extra drawings and some words and stuff like they like, oh, we messed up here, let's white this out and stuff like that. So it has some original art on it, but not really. But yeah, I thought this was interesting. Sorry I went on so long and I was blabbering. But cool. If you like this kind of stuff, think about subscribing, and thanks for checking out this video. And as always, link to my website is down below, collectorscomics.com, and link to my music and stuff like that. All right, have a good day.